Hello and welcome to this very special episode of Frankly Speaking, the budget special. And as always, I have Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman joining me. And congratulations, Nirmala Sitharaman ji. 7th consecutive budget by a lady who's been a finance minister. That's a record and that's the glass ceiling that you've broken. Congratulations. Does it feel any different this year than it did in the previous years?
No, not at all.
Nothing different?
Thank you very much.
No pressure?
No, every year budget till it gets passed in the parliament is a task which you have to go through, and each year has been a learning experience.
लेकिन इस बार तो कॉन्वर्सेशन जो सोशल मीडिया पे थी वो थी कि 240 वाला बजट है, ये 303 वाला बजट नहीं है। सोशल मीडिया थोड़ा देखा बजट प्रेजेंटेशन के बाद?
ये विषय नहीं देखा, देखती हूँ मगर इसको मैंने कहीं देखा नहीं है। मगर उसमें एक गलती है, वो ये है कि नंबर जो भी हो पार्लियामेंट में आपके सीट, देश के लिए जब बजट बनाते हैं, तैयार करते हैं, उसमें जिम्मेदारी चाहे 302 हो या 241 हो, जिम्मेदारी वही है क्योंकि देश के लिए बना रही हो बजट। उसमें प्रधानमंत्री जी का गाइडेंस और उसमें देश के लिए जो विजन हमने वोट ऑन अकाउंट बजट में दिए उसको जोड़ करके आगे ले जाना और विकसित भारत के लिए एक मार्गदर्शन देने वाले बजट तैयार करने में उसका अपने ही स्थान है।
लेकिन मैं आपको कुछ मीम्स दिखाती हूँ। ये कांग्रेस पार्टी आजकल सबसे ज्यादा मीम्स करती है और इस मीम में कांग्रेस पार्टी ने लिखा कट कॉपी पेस्ट बजट, कुर्सी बचाओ बजट, क्योंकि बहुत सी चीजें बजट में ऐसी थी जो उन्हें लगा आपने उनके मैनिफेस्टो से उठाई है। यहाँ तो पहली नौकरी पक्की वाला जो उनका मैनिफेस्टो का था वो भी उन्होंने ट्वीट किया है और कहा है अ गुरु इज ऑलवेज अ गुरु। तो क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी गुरु है और बीजेपी चेला है?
मैं इसमें अगर सही जवाब देना है तो एक रिस्क है। वो रिस्क है कि तुरंत लोग इसका हाँ देखा फिनेंस मिनिस्टर कितने एरोगेंस के साथ जवाब दे दिया। ये जवाब और ये रिस्पॉन्स जनता या कुछ लोगों से आ सकते हैं। मैं सिर्फ ये बहुत ही विनम्रता से सबमिट करना चाहती हूँ, कांग्रेस पार्टी का स्कीम घोषणा करना और उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने में हर तरह का एक्सक्यूज देना ये नया बात नहीं है। मैं एक बार पार्लियामेंट में ये स्पष्ट की है कि हमारी स्कीम है, उसका श्रेय हमें नहीं दे रही हो, ये आरोप आता रहता है कांग्रेस से। स्कीम घोषणा करना एक विषय है, उसको इम्प्लीमेंट सही तरीके से करना दूसरा है, जो क्षमता कांग्रेस पार्टी में नहीं है। घोषणा करते हैं, मनरेगा के विषय में बार बार बोलते हैं ये हमारी स्कीम है, आधार के विषय में बोलते हैं हम ही ले आए, मगर सीएजी के द्वारा जो रिपोर्ट आया मनरेगा उनके कार्यकाल में कितना घोटाले घपलेबाजी सब हुआ, मगर उसी मनरेगा को सही तरीके से बिना उसमें कुछ शक डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर के द्वारा अच्छा सा इंप्लीमेंट करने वाले प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी है। करते जाओ घोषणा।
पर ये तो घोषणा नहीं, ये तो मैनिफेस्टो है।
वो घोषणा के विषय में मैं इंप्लीमेंट करो स्कीम, मगर गलत तरीके से इंप्लीमेंट करो। ये तो हो रही है जो प्रॉमिस कर्नाटका के उदाहरण लीजिए ना, चुनाव के समय में दिया फ्रीबीज इतने सारे, और इंप्लीमेंट करने के लिए जब जाते हैं उनके सीएम के एडवाइजरी बोलते हैं हम इसका फाइनेंस कर नहीं पा रहे, अगर इसको करना है तो डेवलपमेंट एक्टिविटीज के लिए मेरे पास पैसा नहीं होगा। डिप्टी सीएम भी वही कहे, एडवाइजर भी वही कहे। कांग्रेस का मैं ये कर्नाटका के उदाहरण दे रही हूँ। और दूसरा ये भी कह रही हूँ इतने सारे अच्छा घोषणा करके आपके कांग्रेस चलाने वाले सरकार कर्नाटका के अलावा तेलंगाना में है, ये उधर इंप्लीमेंट करके दिखाओ भाई। हिमाचल में है, उधर भी इंप्लीमेंट करके दिखाओ। जहां सरकार में है उधर कोई काम नहीं आ रहा इसका, मगर दूसरे के ऊपर आरोप करो मेरा कॉपी पेस्ट स्टिक किया। मैं चैलेंज करती हूं, हिमाचल प्रदेश में छोटा राज्य है, तेलंगाना उससे बड़ा है, आप चूज करो भाई, तेलंगाना में इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे या हिमाचल में। ये घोषणा करना एक विषय है, इंप्लीमेंटेशन के समय कांग्रेस पीछे हट जाती।
इम्प्लीमेंटेशन अनदर स्टोरी, लेकिन आइडिया उनका है, ये आप मानते?
नहीं, मैं वो भी नहीं मानने को तैयार हूं। मैं बोल रही हूं हमारी स्कीम कंप्लीटली वेल थॉट थ्रू है और इसमें कोई प्राइवेट सेक्टर में डाल दिया, हक बना दिया अप्रेंटिसशिप को, है ना। मैं बात कर रही हूं इंडस्ट्री के ऊपर हक बना करके आप लोगों को बेच करके उस इंडस्ट्री में काम करने वाले के साथ रखने के लिए आप ले आ रहे हैं। क्या इंडस्ट्री के साथ बात हो गया है? मेरे से आज पूछ रहे हैं कि इंप्लीमेंटेशन इसमें कैसे है, इंडस्ट्री के ऊपर आप इंपोज करेंगे, इंट्रूड करेंगे इंडस्ट्री के HR प्लान के साथ। ऐसे सब प्रश्न आज मेरे से पूछा जा रहा, मैं कांग्रेस से पूछ रही हूं। हक बनाने वाले अप्रेंटिसशिप को क्या इंडस्ट्री से बात हो गया है? कॉपी कट स्टिक पेस्ट का ये नहीं है कि आप कुछ भी कह दो। इस बार कांग्रेस के मेथोडोलॉजी हैज बीन बेसलेस चार्जेस, आरोप और कैंपेन के लिए नैरेटिव जिसको गलत है, मतलब उसका बेसलेस आरोप है, बेबुनियाद आरोप है, इसको साबित करने के लिए आप पीछे होते जाओ, फिर बोलो अरे आप तो सरकार में है, आप क्यों डिफेंसिव बन रहे हैं। अरे ये बयानबाजी और अग्रेसिव तरीके से बात करने में कोई झूठ सच्चा नहीं होगा, मगर कांग्रेस वो प्रयत्न करने के रास्ते पे चल रही है।
But then let me ask you, this has impacted you in the recent elections. Both the issues that you picked up, whether it was changing of the constitution or the reservation issue, इन दोनों इश्यूज पे नैरेटिव कांग्रेस का जीता है, विच मीन्स आपके नैरेटिव में यानी कि बीजेपी के नैरेटिव में, सरकार के नैरेटिव में कहीं ना कहीं कोई कमी रही, ये तो आप मानेंगी।
मैं ये मानती हूं कि कांग्रेस अपप्रचार कर रहा है, एक जिम्मेदाराना पार्टी, और अभी इस चुनाव के नतीजा को तो आप भी समझते हैं कि सरकार इलेक्ट करने के समय ऑपोजिशन का भी इलेक्शन हुआ, ये मैं मानती हूं। पार्टी 99 सीट 50 के अबाव से 99 तक पहुंचे, मगर 100 पार नहीं हुए। आपको एक रिस्पॉन्सिबल ऑपोजिशन के रोल प्ले करने के लिए जनता ने वोट देकर आपको 99 के साथ भेजा है। 99 के साथ रिस्पॉन्सिबल ऑपोजिशन कैसे होना, इसके ऊपर भी सोचना आवश्यक है।
So let me ask you, मिडिल क्लास, इस बजट में मिडिल क्लास को आपने लगभग 17,500 रुपीस का एक रिलैक्सेशन दिया बाय रेजिंग द एग्जेम्पशन लिमिट। ग्रेट। हाउ मच डज दैट वर्क आउट टू? मैं आपको बताऊं, पर मंथ एक मिडिल क्लास के घर में 1,458 रुपीज बचते हैं। आपको लगता है कि इस 1,500 रुपए से कम की जो बचत हुई उससे मिडिल क्लास घर में कोई खास फर्क पड़ेगा?
Navika, I respect this issue of middle class should be given some rahat. How much ever I wish to give, I love to give more. But after a point, it's also, particularly when it comes to tax-related issues. That is why, to make a difference to the salaried people, I made sure that the standard deduction will go up from 50,000 to 75,000. Once the tax rates are also being changed, that will benefit even the higher tax payers. Because for every 1 lakh, first 1 lakh, first 5 lakh, first 10 lakh, first 15 lakh, the kind of
रेट
benefit
कम हो जाए।
that will benefit even the higher income groups. So, first of all, our intention to give something to the middle class salaried people, I increase this standard deduction. I can do more, I wish to do more, but there are limitations in taxation. How much more can I give is a question that I have to look at. So ideally, yes, I love to give more, but there are limitations. And I have to consider there are limitations. That's why affordable housing, I'm giving some kind of a benefit, and subsidized interest. I'm also making sure that student loans for students who are going to study in Indian universities is up to 10 lakhs, and on that also a subsidized interest will be given for families to pick up for children's education. So there are various ways in which we
Especially
are trying.
when papers are leaking all over the place.
Well, that has clearly been taken up in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has come out with, having looked at the case, its judgment. I think we should learn to judge, learn to respect the judgment which has come from the Supreme Court.
निर्मला जी, आपने कहा मिडिल क्लास को मैं ज्यादा देना चाहती हूँ, लेकिन सवाल लोग ये करते हैं कि इस देश की 140 करोड़ की आबादी है, उसमें से 7 करोड़ लोग इनकम टैक्स के नेट में आते हैं, जिसमें से 5 करोड़ लगभग, शायद उससे कुछ ज्यादा ही, सिर्फ रिटर्न फाइल करते हैं, टैक्स नहीं देते। यानी कि पूरे देश के 140 करोड़ लोगों के बिहाफ पर अगर कोई टैक्स दे रहा है तो वो 2 करोड़, लगभग 2 करोड़, शायद उससे कम लोग। क्या उनकी गलती यही है कि वो सैलरीड हैं, उनके पास कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है, उनका तो जो टैक्स है वो टीडीएस पे कटता है? और एक मीम जो मुझे दिखा, जो मुझे बहुत लगता है कि हर मिडिल क्लास घर में, और ये अगर मैं आपको दिखाऊं तो इसमें, आई डोंट नो आपने देखा कि नहीं सोशल मीडिया में, वो कह रहा है ये तनख्वाह आती है, तनख्वाह में से आप पहले तो 30% डायरेक्ट टैक्स दे देते हैं, और बाकी का आप क्या करेंगे, आप जो खर्च करते हैं उसमें आप अगर ऑर्डिनरी चीजों पे खर्च करते हैं तो आपको 12% का जीएसटी लगता है, थोड़ी सी महंगी चीजों पर करते हैं तो 18%, और लग्जरी गुड्स थोड़े बहुत खरीदने का अगर आपका शौक है तो वो 28%। तो ये सैलरी यहां चली जाती है, और यहां पर आप जो इन्वेस्ट करते हैं तो अगर आपके लॉसेस होते हैं तो सरकार आपको कुछ नहीं कहती, लेकिन अगर आपको फायदा होता है तो आप 20% टैक्स दे दीजिए यहां पर, या 12.5% जो आपने लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन्स टैक्स लगा दिया है। तो सैलरीड वाला, खास करके प्राइवेट सेक्टर में जो सैलरीड इंसान होता है, उसके पास कोई सोशल सिक्योरिटी नहीं है, उसके पास कोई पेंशन नहीं है, वो सरकारी नौकर नहीं है, उनका कौन सा बेनिफिट है जिस पर टैक्स नहीं लगता? ये सवाल जनता पूछ रही है, मिडिल क्लास के लोग पूछ रहे हैं।
हम टैक्स रेट कम करने के लिए हर कोशिश करिए। दैट इज व्हाई वी ब्रॉट इन द न्यू टैक्स regime, the alternative new regime, which has far lesser rate compared to the old regime. The old regime has a lot of exemptions and so on. Many people said we don't need the exemptions, so we brought that. That's one. We tried to reduce and simplify the taxation entire system and regime itself. And it's difficult to convey this, and I don't know how I'm going to do this without causing this outrage about, how dare the finance minister say this. But let us, matter of fact, please allow me this indulgence. Is GST tax on the essentials, was it brought in only by GST? When they taxed under the earlier pre-GST regime in every state, through VAT or through excise? Don't tax, great principle. Great principle. Don't tax at all. But to say that it is GST which brought it on my soap and oil, my comb, with due respect, yeah, whether you want to accept it or not, even I come from a middle class family which lived on salaries. Do you think I'm here now doing things which I don't understand? With due respects, GST on daily use items, every state was doing its own earlier. That's been brought together so that it becomes simple and one all over the country. In some states, buying a car was cheaper, and some other state it was more expensive. So in order to get the entire country to deal with it in one fashion, there was a GST council formed and rates have been decided. Now, the ministers who sit in the GST council spend a lot of time understanding this and represent the people. All of us speak for the people. And therefore, to think that before GST all these were free, whereas now it has been taxed, no. But I can for sure say, after the GST, the tax rate on all of them has come down. I've released n number of data to show that the ordinary daily use common man items have been brought down in tax after the introduction of GST. Let's give credit where it is due.
तो अखिलेश यादव जब कहते हैं कि 12 लाख एनुअल इनकम तक के लोगों को आप बिल्कुल टैक्स फ्री कर दीजिए क्योंकि उनके हाथ में ज्यादा पैसे होंगे तो वो ज्यादा चीजें खरीदेंगे, आपको तो जीएसटी में फिर भी टैक्स मिलेगा. इज ही ओवर सिंप्लीफाइंग?
Well, everybody has their own view on how to handle tax and tax related matters. Samajwadi Party was a very strong member in some of the earlier UPA governments. I wished finance ministers had taken his advice then.
So this is about political one-upmanship.
I don't look at it. In fact, honestly, I feel there are some items and some issues on which political parties will have to come together. And I will list them out.
nazar aa raha hai. Can you see that happening with the kind of confrontation that we see every day in parliament, in the rhetoric during elections? Do you see any consensus building, taking the country forward kind of activity? Because many political parties are deciding not even to participate in the Niti Aayog meeting on 27th. Mamata Banerjee is going to come because she wants to fight with the central government क्योंकि आप उनको पैसे नहीं दे रहे.
With due respect, I admit that is a good position to take. Because Niti Aayog-like forum, where the Prime Minister is the chair, is a very good forum to come and speak about the issues that you think are important for the state. It is a good forum. And I think opposition, by taking this kind of a position, is actually losing an opportunity. They should come to the Niti Aayog and say, look, my state is getting this much, it should get this much. These are the projects which need funding, and speak up. Don't you want to use that opportunity? I would honestly want states to participate in it and speak about their issues.
But Nirmala ji, most opposition parties have protested outside parliament today saying that your budget was a Kursi Bachao budget because you announced schemes for Andhra Pradesh, you announced schemes for Bihar, there was no mention of any other state. You even had a little bit of a confrontation in Rajya Sabha with the leader of opposition Mallikarjun Kharge. But do you really believe this is a Kursi Bachao? Because now you cannot do without the numbers of the TDP and the JDU, which is why you've announced this. And even if you say कि बाकी states के लिए है, you didn't even take their name. The fact that you took only these two names clearly was a political message.
I took Himachal Pradesh's name.
In flood control. Yes. In flood control, the announcement that you made.
I took Assam's name. I took Sikkim's name. So I have taken other states' names. It's not as if I've named only two. And I also repeat the point that I said in the Rajya Sabha. I want to challenge the Congress party on each of their budgets that they have spoken. If they had not mentioned the name of any one state in it, did it mean that they didn't want to give money for that state? Can I conclude like that? It means from the way in which they seem to be behaving today, that's what it implies. Whereas I didn't imply that. I will still have money going to states who have not named in my budget. I will still have projects undertaken in those states. I will still have centrally sponsored schemes happening in those states. So I will still look at ADB or World Bank functioning, support coming in, financial support coming in as loans to fund projects in those states. But does it mean, because of the way in which the Congress party has interpreted it today and walked out during the zero-hour discussion in the morning, does it mean that in their budget, if they didn't mention the name of one state, they stopped the money going to that state? I'd like to challenge. I would like to pick up on those budgets. In fact, let me tell you, today somebody who has read Indian budgets as a matter of hobby every year gave me this news that, once an alliance partner left the alliance, they dropped mention about that state totally during their alliance days. Those kind of tricks maybe they play. We don't play those games. Take the budget documents which go along with my speech. Whether I mention it in my speech or not, the documents will show by scheme what monies go under each scheme to which state. Every state has it. Every state gets projects funded and monies go, whether I mention them in the speech or not. And that's why I took the example of Maharashtra, where a big project, a seaport, which actually this country deserved to have for the last 70 years. One of the biggest projects, and the best draft is in that port. It should have been built 70 years ago. India would have had great advantage. Vadhavan port in Maharashtra. Did I mention it in my vote on account? Or did I mention it now? I didn't in either of them. But the cabinet has given an approval to build one of the biggest port for India in Vadhavan, 76,000 crores. You can always say, no, you didn't mention, but did money get stopped?
That's an election-bound state. So I will again be political and say कि महाराष्ट्र को आपने दिए क्योंकि वहाँ election है.
Please have your team to look into the budget documents and tell me which state has been ignored.
Tamil Nadu says they've been ignored. West Bengal says they've been ignored. Telangana says they've been ignored. Karnataka says they've been ignored. Especially the Karnataka chief ministers even said that you come to the Rajya Sabha from Karnataka and you've got nothing for Karnataka in your budget.
I would want each of them to please look into the budget documents and see if there is anything made as provision for those states or not. I think they're just being unfair in misleading and putting forth a misleading argument or a narrative and confusing the people. A responsible opposition. I recall my words. This election has seen people of India elect a government as much as elect an opposition. An opposition which has been given above 50, which was the earlier position, 99 seats, to be a responsible opposition. But what they are doing today, by doing all these baseless arguments and putting forth unsubstantiated allegations, they're doing a disfavor.
Why do you think they're targeting you? Is it you or your party?
Not targeting me. It is targeting this government. And why do they do it? They just don't like Prime Minister Modi. It's a visceral hatred. And therefore, anything that he does for this country is unacceptable for them. There cannot be a greater petty-minded opposition than what the Congress is. It's a sad state. I wish the party rises from that kind of a pettiness. But maybe a bit too much to expect, because let me recall, when Congress was in power, the pettiness was shown against a state, Gujarat, and against the chief minister of that state, Gujarat, and the central agencies were used to undermine the chief minister, undermine every minister there. It is that attitude which continues even today, in spite of people punishing them with 55 seats last time.
So then is it payback time when ED and CBI go after the opposition?
Not at all. We have stated it publicly. that our fight is against corruption in this country and we'll go after black money wherever it is. And therefore they are out there doing their job. We have not made them a caged parrot like the way CBI's chief during UPA's time commented about himself.
But the washing machine perception hurt you in elections.
That's a different story. Anything can hurt anybody in elections. I'm not going to go by it. But is it not true that the black money, fight against black money is being taken up by the agencies under this government because they've been given the freedom to do what is lawfully got to be done?
But that's again, takes me back to all the comments on social media which says, आप ही ने प्रॉमिस किया था, आप काला धन लाएंगे और सैलरीड क्लास को ऑनर करेंगे because they are the real patriots. And what have they got? They've got an increase in long-term capital gains tax, which has gone up from 10% to 12.5%, which means anybody who invests in the market, and you know there are a lot of retail investors in the market who invest in mutual funds, उनके टैक्स बढ़ गए, उनके पास पेंशन का कवर नहीं है, उनको आयुष्मान भारत नहीं मिलता, उनको गरीब कल्याण योजना नहीं मिलता, उनके बच्चों को आप लोन में भी सबवेंशन नहीं देंगे, लेकिन उनका टैक्स बढ़ गया. और दूसरी तरफ लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन्स टैक्स हैज आल्सो come down from 20% to 12.5% in the assets segment, but indexation has been taken away. Now, your party can joke about the fact that everybody is an indexation expert, but in some cases, that tax, in some cases, will hit people selling in the short run.
Navika, I'm sorry, I don't know whoever informs you on this long-term capital gains tax and the measures that we've taken. In fact, since last night, the CBDT has been putting out, and even now as I've come for this interview, there is a frequently asked questions section,
yes.
FAQs, which the CBDT has put out, explaining in detail. It's differently, I think. Explaining in detail as to why this has been made. Yesterday in the press conference, the Revenue Secretary neatly explained as to how 1.25 lakh has been exempted annually for the smaller investors in the market. They are not subject to 1.25 lakh is not subject to the tax. So keeping in mind the small investors, we've given that exemption. But as Revenue Secretary rightly explained, majority of them who are earning big amounts out of it are the ones who will be paying 12.5 rather than 10 now. And the indexation removal has been explained very clearly with case instances. So many cases have been shown as those which we studied before we brought this, so that people will pay lesser than what they have been paying even with indexation. What they're going to pay at 12.5 is lesser than even what they have paid if the indexation were to be there. So enough work was done in consultation with people who advise us on these matters, and it has not been brought in thoughtlessly. And today and since last night, the kind of explanations that we are giving to dispel all these quick fix answers people have given, which are not right. I would want everybody to please go through the explanations, the clarifications, the FAQ, which the Income Tax Department, the CBDT, has put out. Then you'll know that it is certainly not going to hurt most people. There can be some who are, getting that benefit at a higher level, but certainly not the middle class, certainly not the poor, small retail investors. I can assure you on that. Enough and more work was done with instances of what if the price is now here, what it was purchased so and so year. We've done all that and we've put it all out.
So you're
kindly
saying
have a look at it.
I looked at
It was done. Let me assure you with this one line. It was not done for revenue considerations. It was more an exercise to simplify the entire long-term capital gains and also to make sure all asset classes are treated similarly.